Hi, I'm Reb Myron. I'm a minister through Pathways of Light, and I've been a Course in Miracles student for 44 years. I'm going through the lessons again this year, asking Jesus for clarity, and then I write from that clarity, and that's what I'm sharing with you today. So let's get started. We're looking at lesson 7 today. I see only the past. That lesson says this idea is particularly difficult to believe at first, yet it is a rationale for all the preceding ones. It is a reason why nothing that you see means anything. It's a reason why you've given everything you see all the meaning that it has for you. It is a reason why you do not understand anything you see. It's a reason why your thoughts do not mean anything and why they're like the things you see. It is a reason why you're never upset for the reason you think. It's a reason why you're upset because you see something that is not there. Old ideas about time are very difficult to change because everything you believe is rooted in time and depends on your not learning these new ideas about it. Yet that is precisely why you need new ideas about time. This first time idea is not really so strange as it may sound at first. Look at a cup, for example. Do you see a cup, or are you merely reviewing your past experiences of picking up a cup, being thirsty, drinking from a cup, feeling the rim of the cup against your lips, having breakfast, and so on? Are not your aesthetic reactions to the cup too based on past experiences? How else would you know whether or not this kind of cup will break if you drop it? What do you know about this cup except what you learned in the past? You would have no idea what this cup is except for your past learning. Do you then really see it? Look about you. This is equally true at whatever you look at. Acknowledge this by applying the idea for today indiscriminately to whatever catches your eye. For example, I see only the past in this pencil. I see only the past in this shoe. I see only the past in this hand. I see only the past in that body. I see only the past in that face. Do not linger over one thing in particular, but remember to omit nothing specifically. Glance briefly at each subject and then move on to the next. 3 or 4 practice periods, each to last a minute or so, will be enough. Do you notice how gentle he's being in these? He's just taking us into it a little baby step at a time. In 2025, this is what I said. This is not my first time through these lessons, yet I'm always surprised by how new they feel when I actually do them as directed. So today I went through the simple ritual of noticing how I see only the past in everything, and almost immediately the ego tried to hijack the practice. I looked at my ruler and had to laugh as I remembered the young clerk at the store staring at me like I was strange. She couldn't imagine why anyone would need a ruler anymore. I told her it was to draw straight lines on paper, and she still looked at me flummoxed. Then I looked at a picture of my son and began to worry about him. I looked at my favorite coffee cup and hoped it would never break. And on it went, as ego tried to pull me into sad, frightening, or merely distracting stories. Yet this only proved the lesson true. Nothing I see means anything in itself. I have given everything the meaning it has for me, and I've done so entirely on the basis of the past. I do not understand anything, and I'm never upset for the reason I think. Most clearly, I'm upset because I'm seeing something that is not there. I noticed disaster lurching behind perfectly ordinary objects where nothing at all was happening. How would I know that something was dangerous or sad or fragile unless fearful or painful things seemed to have happened before? I'm grateful for today that I'm not asked to fix this. I'm only asked to notice it, and that I can do. And so this year, here's the way I thought about it. It said, last night I watched a short video about grief and memories of my brother and then my mother came rushing back. For a few moments, I felt that odd sense of loss, that old sense of loss again. Yet I began to realize that I was not grieving now. I was remembering what grief once felt like. The feeling was gentler than it had been years ago because time had softened the memory. Before the course, I might have felt guilty about that, as if loving them meant I must always feel the same intensity of sorrow. But nothing was actually happening in the present. I was looking at the past. This world is a past remembered. Jesus tells us that much seems to have occurred, yet nothing has really happened. What appears to be happening now is the endless replaying of old stories in the mind. I also thought about the passage where he speaks of the tiny tick of time, how the world seemed to arise in a single ancient instant, and how in every ever unforgiving thought we call that instant back again. Living in memory alone, we forget where we are. This is the real problem with seeing only the past. It binds us to what does not exist and blocks our awareness of what is there and what we truly are. It keeps us from remembering our Father and ourself. That state of mind is what hell really is, not pain itself, but mistaking memory of life and images for truth. While it sounds like a monumental task to release this obsession with the past, it is actually simple. These lessons are gently carrying me toward the awakening I long for. Today, I'm only asked to practice even when the practice feels too simple or too strange to be effective. For these few minutes, I'm resting in trust in my brother, laying aside all questions and doubts and letting myself be led home. Thank you so much for joining me in this reading. I hope that you found it helpful. If you did, then please like it. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe. And I'll be back soon with another reading. In fact, I'll be right back because I'm going to share with you my thoughts on the text. Join me there too if you'd like.